In a place called Wu Palace, a man named Shi Xiling walked with a baby in his left hand and a spear in his right hand. He walked away with a smug face filled with anger. He tried to enter the Wu Palace, but was blocked by the soldiers. He forced his way through and shattered everything that stood in his way. Shi Xiling is not alone, he is accompanied by his wife named Chen Yuning. They fought together so managed to easily break through the first defense. But when they arrived at the second defense, they were already surrounded by soldiers. The soldiers set up a formation to cover the movement space of Shi Xiling and Chen Yuning. But in front of absolute power, it was useless. Shi Xiling took out his technique and came out a golden dragon. The golden dragon destroyed the entire formation of the soldiers and the resistance ended quickly. The remaining soldiers looked frightened because of the considerable difference in strength. The cause of Shi Xiling's anger was none other than because his son was sacrificed so that his child's condition was bad. So he wanted to ask for an explanation and accountability. But an absurd reason came out of the mouth of the fifth elder of the Stone clan named Shu Yuan. He reasoned that sacrifices were made for the welfare of the family, which was nothing but the welfare of the Stone clan. For your information, Shi Xiling and Chu Yuning are part of the Stone clan. Hearing such a ridiculous answer, and feeling betrayed made Shi Xiling even more angry. And finally the fight begins. On the other hand, Chen Yuning looks disappointed and annoyed to see a small child who is his son's cousin. He made no effort to stop the sacrifice made to his cousin. As a mother, she couldn't blame him. The ones to blame are his family who have committed heinous acts against his son. The fight still continues between Shi Yuan and Shi Xiling. The fight seemed unfavorable for Shi Xiling, because he had to fight while protecting his son. He was cornered by the attack given by Shi Yuan. At the time the sword was aimed at his son's body. And because it was difficult to avoid, Shi Xiling held the sword with his own hands. So it made his hand bleed. By rushing, Chen Yuning helped attack Shi Yuan so that a 2-on-1 fight took place. To end so that the fight ends faster. Shi Yuan took out the technique that was the Tiger Ancient Beast and was countered by the Shi Xiling that issued the Golden Dragon Primordial Beast technique. Chen Yuning provides assistance so that the Golden Dragon's power becomes stronger and the two fight. In a great wasteland that is the abode of ancient beasts. In that area there is an area that has a barrier. The barrier protects the territory within. Ancient beasts, giant apes and large birds flew around the area. As the giant ape tried to break the barrier, it was blown away due to the strength of the barrier. Because it can't break through and destroy the barrier. That way, the beasts could only wait for their prey to come out of the barrier. A few years later, starting the sunrise, children who were in a place called Stone Village were practicing martial arts. They were trained by a middle-aged man named Shu Yufeng who was the family head of the Stone Village. There was a boy wearing a red scarf. He is the main character in this story named Shi Hao. Practicing from a young age is very beneficial for strengthening muscles and bones and strengthening blood. So that it can be a grip for survival in the Kangnan Mountains, which are the abode of many ancient beasts. In a valley near a volcano, hunters are monitoring a two-headed fire rhino. According to their conversation, this rhino can fill the village's food supply for 2 months. In addition, the beast essence can be used as medicine for the village children. But because of impatience, a man acted carelessly and rushed to attack. The reason was quite trivial. He was afraid of being scolded by his mother-in-law and being scolded when he didn't bring food. Then he immediately attacked the rhino, but the rhino kicked his body and bounced away. The rhino was angry and the hunters were forced to attack openly. With a fairly strong defense, the rhino is hard to beat. One of the hunters cleverly attacked the rhino's leg, causing the rhino to fall. The rhino fell and could not stand up, and could only attack by spitting fire from its mouth. Seeing the rhino dying, this was used by them to immediately end the rhino's resistance. But in the sky a green-scaled eagle is monitoring its prey from a distance. Seeing the green-scaled eagle, they fled to save themselves. The rhino was eventually carried away by the green-scaled eagle. Even though it was dying, the rhino still put up a fight by spitting fire from its mouth. This causes the eagle to lose its balance and fall. The green-scaled eagle then confirmed the rhino's death, before being carried away again. But a man's feet caught fire, so while trying to put out the fire on his feet, the green-scaled eagle saw it, because it felt that its prey would be stolen. The green-scaled eagle attacked the hunters. A hunter tries to distract a green-scaled eagle by serving as bait, so that the other hunters can escape. At that moment, the volcano erupted. Seeing this natural phenomenon, the family head of the Stone Village felt that a heavenly treasure would appear. On to the hunters. Because the volcano erupted, the green-scaled eagle did not attack and went to save itself. Likewise, what the hunters did when they tried to save themselves. In the end, the hunters managed to survive the volcanic eruption and bring their prey in the form of fire rhinos. When they arrived at Stone Village, they were already greeted by their children. The children ran while calling for their father. The children were very happy to be reunited and brought food. With this hunt, Stone Village can have a sufficient supply of food for 2 months. On the other hand, Shirhao saw the closeness of son and father. Shirhao was very sad, because he didn't know where his father and mother were. Since childhood he has been entrusted and grew up in the Stone Village. A moment later Shi Yifeng came to comfort him. Shirhao then asked him, "Will mom and dad be back soon?" He simply replied that they went to a very faraway place. To make Shirhao not gloomy anymore, Shi Yifeng took Shirhao to see the game the hunting team had brought. Every time they get prey, Stone Village always performs a ritual to honor the willow god who has given protection to Stone Village. The ritual is carried out to give the spirit of animal sacrifice as a form of gratitude and to bless the Stone Village and its inhabitants. After that, the children of Stone Village performed a medicinal bath ritual. Stone Village has medicinal recipes that have been around for generations. Medicinal baths are very useful for getting a strong body foundation. However, many children refuse to take medicine baths. This is because medicine baths feel like the whole body has been slashed with a knife. But the children could not do anything against the adults, of course, lost in strength. Eventually they were forced and thrown into the medicine bath. Shi Yifeng added the rare medicine and true essence of the two-headed fire rhino beast. He guaranteed that after the medicinal bath, the strength of the bones would be comparable to the strength of the beast itself. He hopes the kids can hold it in. After that, Shirhao told Shi Yifeng not to lie, because he had promised to give Shirhao animal milk to drink if he could endure the medicinal bath to the end. With a laugh, he promised to give Shirhao all-you-can-drink animal milk. After that he added the power of the rune mystic force to increase the efficacy of the medicinal bath. With the added power of the mystical rune force into the bath, the medicine bath was getting more and more painful. Slowly the children began to feel weak and finally one by one they left the tub. Only Shirhao remained, who was trying his best to endure the pain. As the water boils, the water bubbles start to come out due to the high temperature. It wasn't long before the true essence of the fire rhino mystic beast emerged. Shi Yifeng immediately ordered Shirhao to immediately absorb the essence, and must not let it escape. After that, the two-headed fire rhino essence entered the body, and Shirhao felt pain and heat in his body. Until finally the essence of the two-headed fire rhino was completely absorbed, and became the power of the runes. After that a light radiated out from Shirhao's body, with a condition of excess energy that can be accommodated by his body. He tried to get it out by lifting the bathtub, which weighed many times his body weight. Shi Yifeng did not expect the strength of Shirhao's pure physical body to be comparable to that of an ancient beast. And finally Shirhao collects the promise of drinking animal milk after successfully taking a medicinal bath. And Shi Yifeng allowed to drink as much as Shirhao wanted. After that, Shirhao went to the god of sacrifice in the Stone Village, the god of willow. He gave a sacrifice in the form of animal milk, which he liked very much. Then he asked about the whereabouts of his parents. But on the other hand, he does not know the faces of his parents, because Shirhao has been abandoned since childhood and left in the Stone Village. While crying, Shirhao was approached by Hunyo. She is Piha's sister, a boy who has a stubborn nature and does not want to lose to others. Hunyo tried to comfort Shirhao by offering a thumb sign for animal milk, which was Shirhao's favorite. Shirhao immediately refused because he felt that he had grown up and only drank animal milk that he had made himself. Seeing Hunyo playing alone, Shirhao asked where his brother was. Because he was a child, Hunyo had a hard time speaking properly. She just answered word for word. She says, "Brother, go, big bird and egg." Understanding the meaning of Hunyo's words, Shirhao asked Hunyo to report to Grandpa, because bad things could happen. Because Shirhao suspected that Paheo and his friends were looking for eggs by getting into a large bird's nest. In a great wasteland, Paheo and his friends managed to find a bird's nest, then they climbed using a rope. When they reached the top, they saw a large, shiny and green egg. It turns out that the egg is the egg of a green-scaled eagle. From a distance the mother bird returns to the nest after getting food. Because the green-scaled eagle has sharp eyesight, it saw a human trying to steal the egg. This makes the bird angry and fly quickly to the nest. There are several moral messages we can take away from this episode. 1. Parental love. A parent's love for their child is priceless. Parents feel pain when their children suffer. This was experienced by Shi Xiling and Chen Yuning. They are parents of children who are victims of crimes by their own families. They did not expect that the Stone Clan, which they considered as their own family, would hurt their child for the sake of the welfare of the family or the Stone Clan. Then they got angry and broke into the Wu Palace. From this, we can conclude that parents really love and care for their children. No matter how bad we are, they still sincerely care for and make their children happy. So love and make your parents happy while they are still alive. Do not regret in the future because you did not have time to make them happy. 2. Jealousy. Jealousy or not liking to see other people's success is a heart disease that must be eliminated. Jealousy is okay if used as motivation for success. Don't compare yourself with others. Because every individual has their own advantages, and it is impossible to force them to be able to do everything. In the story it is shown that Paheo has a jealous nature, which does not want to lose to others. Currently his strength is lower than Shi Hao, who is younger than him. He is jealous and uses every means to get strong quickly. This can be fatal if you do something wrong. Paheo misbehaved by looking for the green scale eagle's nest to increase strength and be able to balance with Shi Hao. So the message is, don't be jealous of other people's strengths or success. Jealousy should only be a motivation, and don't use all bad means to achieve something.